welcome back to the studio. In this video I'm going to show you 3 powerful ways that hand printing can boost your creativity and your art practice. Whether you've printed before with a press or without, or you've never printed at all, I hope to show you how hand printing can be a part of your practice from now on, and it doesn't have to be hard or complex to begin. At the end of the video I'm going to show you the few essentials that you need to get started hand printing, so keep watching for that. I'm Ruth and I help artists to deepen their practice through hand printing at home. I make videos from my tiny shed studio in Bristol, UK. If I've piqued your interest in hand printing at home, then you might like to join my email list. You get my free guide, How to be a Rebel Printmaker, 5 rules you need to break to make your best work on paper. And you also get monthly inspiration, videos, how-tos, all my content, writing on art, all straight to your inbox every month. Also, my 8-week course is happening in the spring. It's going to be called Hand Printing Happiness, and it's going to be everything you need to know and more about hand printing at home. So if you're interested in that, join the waitlist. All the links are in the description below. Right, let's get started. First off, hand printing regularly can really up your mark making game. If you use something thin like tissue paper, it will show all of your gestures. So you can have great fun using things from your house and your kitchen to make marks in your ink or paint. You can make really defined marks, really soft graduated marks with rags and kitchen towel. And it's great fun to use loads of different tools. Paper will pick up all of those marks really well. You can be a lot less precious on paper, so you tend to experiment more, and it doesn't matter so much if it turns out like you planned or doesn't turn out like you planned. Although I quite like it when it does that. So another reason that hand printing can really free you up is what you can do with the prints afterwards. So you'll find that you create tons of collage fodder when you hand print. And yes, of course, you can make collages with it. But you can also add it to paintings, mixed media pieces, sketchbooks. You can use it to wrap objects as well. It's going to very quickly either radically transform a piece of work, add depth or layers to a piece of art, or give you something to react against. So very easy wins. Here I've used it to wrap another piece like an envelope, and then these are river pebbles actually wrapped in tissue paper print. So you can do all sorts of really exciting things with it. And lastly, just the fact of working on paper can be very freeing in itself. Most people are much less precious on paper, so it lends itself to not overthinking. It doesn't need much storage space, and it's pretty cheap too. But as well as that, you can really manipulate it in so many ways. Cut it up, rip it up, fold it, change the layers, completely change the format. It can really change the way you make art. So perhaps build in a session every now and then to your art practice and see how experimental you can go. So I promised to show you the essentials that you need to get started for hand printing at home. So here goes. You don't need much. A flat surface. This is a piece of perspex or plastic. You could use a piece of glass, a piece of ceramic, anything that's smooth and flat that you can roll ink onto, basically. Which brings me to roller. You do probably need a roller. You can get these fairly inexpensively. This is an SD one, ESSDEE. Really solid, sturdy, and they're rubber rollers. They're not soft. To roll your ink out. Ink or paint. I often use oil paint. So if you've got any of that in your studio, you could use that. Any kind of relief ink is good. Block printing ink, lino printing ink, it's all basically the same kind of stuff. This one's Cranfield relief inks as well, especially made for the purpose. So any of those kind of things, but you can just start with what you have in the studio. And of course, paper. So I very often use tissue paper or thin paper. You need thin paper basically because you're only pressing with your hand. There's no printing press involved when you're hand printing. So I tend to use tissue. You could use Asian, Japanese papers. You could use some thin cartridge paper. You could even use copy paper. So anything like that really, as long as it's thin enough that you can press onto the back of it and it will take ink onto it. So those are the things you need to start hand printing. There's lots of videos in my back catalogue, so have a look at how to start and some basic techniques. You might also be interested in my instant access hand printing video courses. They're via my website, ruthander.co.uk, and Playful Printing at Home is the one that is for complete beginners, shows you absolutely everything you need to know to set up your own little print studio at home. Thanks for watching and see you next time.